didn't want to be blind and broke. I quit my dream job because I am unblinded and I see the truth.
Sean is a master. It's about making sure that we learn.
I've never seen something quite this impressive.
You're changing lives. You're having such an enormous impact.
You got what I have, right? That gene of we're gonna win despite.
That is one wickedly smart and wonderfully good man.
Be able to produce the kind of results that are possible that I hear about with this program.
Thank you for the magic of this weekend. Thank you for helping us reimagine all negative connections.
He is the greatest trial attorney and strategist in the country.
Tony Robbins said, there's no one who leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callaghan.
Brought by our dear friend of mine, Sean Callaghan.
You keep up the great work as well. You're doing amazing things. Great job.
Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You're a living example of that, and that inspires me.
Your voice must be heard.
Every single energy can be learned. It can be mastered.
I mean, this is the gift that keeps on giving, just even sitting here.
This is fantastic, positive, productive, wonderful.
Bella is like better than a cup of coffee. She is better than I'm all about energy.
Blinded! What is your profession?
I think it's such an amazing community of healthy individuals with zero jealousy, zero negativity, just designed to help each other succeed.
And she is a two-time, soon-to-be three-time published author who in 2023 publicly battled and defeated cancer.
The reincarnation of I Love Lucy, co-host of Art of Influence, the one, the only, Bella Baritza.
I'm just happy that I came here. I'm just really happy that I came.
You are a blinded, you are a G-hit. If you know that, say yes! Yes!
I should sign up for one of your seminars, one of your programs, you know?
Yeah.
This unison yes thing. Yes, I got to get on this.
And this man is one of the greatest leaders in our country. God bless everybody.
Do you think that worked?
I do think that works. Welcome, Shannon Maritza, to Shannon and Maritza's Heart of Influence. And I'm first going to introduce, I do believe, I have her here. I'm going to first introduce our Acti being coming from Paramus, New Jersey, Oracle of Integrity, born from the unblinded formula, welds the magic of truth and influence, guiding every conversation like a master conductor, orchestrating a symphony of possibility. Her heart beats with level 5 listening, not just hearing words, absorbing them with intention, emotion, and the silent music between the notes bridges the world between where myth meets mastery, curiosity transforms into commitment. Every interaction with her is a portal from uncertainty to inspired, integrous agreement. Let's welcome to the show, Athena Acti.
Bella, that was gorgeous. Thank you for that. I'm here, I'm present, and I am so ready to meet these 6 incredible humans. Shannon, Maritza, honored to be in your space today. Bella, I'm listening. Bring them in.
Let's bring them in, Athena. Thank you so much. And our first guest, coming from what I like to say, the great nation of Texas, partners with global medical devices companies to establish United States market presence. 17 years turning neurosurgical, cardiovascular, and spine technologies into multi-million-dollar portfolios. 4-time President Club Circle winner and #1 national sales representatives at Edward Life Sciences, Abbott, and BioPlate. Ranked top performers across invasive surgery portfolios, drove 1,700% year-over-year revenue growth for early-stage markets by building distributor networks, securing hospital approvals, and driving surgeon adoption nationwide. Let's welcome to the show, Ashutosh Panda.
Oh, thank you.
Anshu, welcome to the Heart of Influence. That is quite an impressive background. And Anshu, how about your fun fact, please? Something that maybe you're proud of, something cool that you've done, but something that would make us go, Anshu, no way.
Well, okay, let's see. I grew up in a very small country, the Fiji Islands, where the population was less than 1 million. And I did voiceover for kids' school program when I was a kid myself.
Wow, that is quite impressive. Fiji to Houston, Texas, a little bit different, but I mean, just a little. I'm not so sure. I'm about to move back to Houston, where I'm from. I'm not so sure I would choose Houston over Fiji, but there's got to be a reason for that. Anshu, are you ready to have some fun today?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome. Let's do it. From Tomball, Texas, leads emergency and observation operations at Houston Methodist Cypress, one of the few smart hospitals leveraging AI for patient care. His nursing career began with a full ride scholarship, now focuses on solving documentation burdens that pull healthcare workers from patients. He's expanding smart hospital technologies into security facilities and nutrition while measuring success through patient experience scores and employee satisfaction surveys. Let's welcome to the show, Craig Minor. Craig, welcome to the Heart of Influence. And Craig, please, your fun fact.
My fun fact is I used to work at a bowling alley, and part of my, like before college and during college, and part of my employment criteria was I had to learn how to bowl. And so I'm actually a very good bowler and I've bowled in professional tournaments and have bowled multiple 300s.
Wow, Craig is a bowling champion, bowling in the 300s. That is impressive, Craig. You could definitely beat me in bowling. That is for sure. I like the what do they call those gutter protectors?
Bumpers.
Yes, the bumpers. I could probably score close to 300 with bumpers too, but my guess is you're bowling without bumpers. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, nope, no bumpers for me. I'm a professional. Craig, are you ready to have some fun here today?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Welcome, Craig, to the Heart of Influence. Next up, coming from Dallas, Texas, she is the principal owner of Extra Point Medical, leading strategic partnerships and surgeon education across orthopedic, spine, pain management, and oncology markets. Her career includes Rookie of the Year, Regional MVP, and President's Club 3 years running, while managing $20 million in territory at Medtronic. An entrepreneurial force who navigates startup to NASDAQ to acquisition, excelling in territory expansion, negotiations, and revenue driving relationships. Let's welcome to the show, Jacqueline.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Well, we are excited to have you, Jacqueline. Also very impressive background. And Jacqueline, please, your fun fact.
Well, recently I was an extra on 2 episodes of Landman and 2 episodes of the Beth and Rip spinoff from Yellowstone.
Wow, that is fun. So do you do extras and shows as like a hobby, or
definitely as a hobby? I think the whole production process is fascinating to see and be a part of.
That is super fascinating. Medical professional turned extra and at the night. That is super fun, Jacqueline. And Jacqueline, are you ready to have some fun here today?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Next up, coming from Spring, Texas, my birthplace, fun fact, exercise psychologist at Baylor State University Medical Center, leading. What's that?
Exercise physiologist.
Oh, exercise physiologist. Yes, thank you for that, Gil. At Baylor, Luke Medical Center, leading the liver transplant program with virtual prehabilitation and surgical and ergonomics. How do you say that word for me, Gil? I always have trouble with that. Yes, what you said. Training former working musician turned healthcare system innovator, he speaks nationally to transplant groups, fitness communities, and clinical coordinators on patient outcomes. His yes man philosophy drives heart-centered patient care, building trust from evaluation through discharge across the entire transplant journey. Let's welcome to the show, Gil Spence. So, Gil, welcome to the Heart of Influence. Please, Gil, your fun fact.
Well, you mentioned that in a previous life, I was a professional musician. And yeah, where we lived, any big act that came through town, I pretty much played backup with. So I played music on stage with everyone from Snoop Dogg to almost all of the Marley Kids, Burning Spear, you name it. If they played on the West Coast, I probably backed them up at one point or another.
That is a super fun fact. So Gil is a backup for Snoop Dogg. That's what I just heard.
Long time ago.
And what did you do for backup? Like what instrument? Like what?
So my original degrees were in classical guitar and percussion. So anything with strings, I played a lot of bass, steel pan, ukulele, guitar, you name it.
That is a super fun fact, Gil. I'm gonna get to say I'm 1 degree separation from Snoop Dogg. That everybody here can now say that you were on a show 1 degrees from Snoop Dogg. That is super fun. I don't know if we're gonna be as cool as hanging out with Snoop Dogg, Gil, but are you ready to have some fun today?
All good.
Okay, perfect. Next up, we are going to Dallas, Texas. Retired general and trauma surgeon from Dallas who climbed leadership ranks to chief of surgery and chief of staff at Regional Hospital. Founded and directed a trauma service for 20 years during the nationwide trauma system development era. Saves lives in high-stake operating rooms. Amazon best-selling author of Enemy at the Helm. Earning the Litarian Titan Silver Book Award while owning a farm with 0 prior farming experience. That's fascinating. Let's welcome to the show, Mark Dixon. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the Heart of Influence and your fun fact.
Thanks for having me. I recently learned Portuguese for a recent trip to Brazil, and that trip is over now. So I'm currently learning Japanese in anticipation for a trip there next year.
Wow, that is impressive. Now, will you forget all the Portuguese, or will you be able to speak Portuguese and Japanese?
If I'm not using it, I forget about it.
You'll forget about it. But that's super impressive.
I try to learn enough of the language to get by wherever I go, and it's helped out quite a bit over the years.
That is super impressive. Mark is learning new languages to travel. And Mark, are you ready to have some fun today?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's do it. Next up, we're going to El Paso, Texas. Board certified orthopedic surgeon specializing in adult reconstruction, focusing on primary and revision hip and knee replacement at Texas Tech University Health Science Center, medical director of orthopedic clinics and associate professor, also serving as bone and joint medical director at the University Medical Center of El Paso. Fellowship, trained at New England Baptist Hospital with research experience at Cleveland Clinic, contributing to peer reviews, literature, and advancing geriatric care outcomes. Let's welcome to the show, Kareem El-Sakali. Hello, Kareem. Welcome to the Heart of Influence. Kareem, and your fun fact, please.
Thank you. So my fun fact is before medical school, I grew up in Egypt and I played tennis competitively, and I ranked 12 in the country at that time.
Whoa, that is impressive. 12th in the country at tennis. That is impressive. Maybe we'll have like some bowling championships, some tennis championships. But that is super impressive. And Kareem, are you ready to have some fun today?
I am. Yes. Thanks for having me.
Let's do it. So before I introduce our co-producers of today's show, I'm going to bring Athena back. And Athena, please, if you could acknowledge all of our 6 guests here today. What would you like them to know? What would you like them to know? And kick us off into the show, please. So Athena, over to you.
Okay, let me just take a breath here because what I just witnessed is not your average Tuesday lineup. Ashu, 1,700% year-over-year growth. You're not building sales territories. You're turning medical device companies into household names inside operating rooms. From Fiji doing voiceovers as a kid to becoming the person neurosurgeons actually pick up the phone for. That's not a career arc. That's a masterclass in becoming unavoidable. Craig, you're solving the thing nobody talks about but everyone feels. Documentation burden, stealing nurses from patients. So you're not just running ANER, you're building the blueprint for what happens when AI actually serves humans instead of replacing them. Also, multiple 300s in bowling means your focus under pressure is not theoretical. Jacqueline, Rookie of the Year to President's Club 3 years running to navigating a company from startup to NASDAQ. You don't just close deals, you architect ecosystems. And now you're on set with Landman and Yellowstone spinoffs because you understand that influence happens everywhere, not just in boardrooms. Gil, you went from backing up Snoop Dogg and the Marley Kids to becoming the person liver transplant patients trust from evaluation to discharge. That yes man philosophy isn't just patient care. It's you bringing the same heart you had on stage into the hardest moments of someone's life. Musician to transplant exercise physiologist is not a pivot. It's the same superpower in a different room. Mark, chief of surgery, chief of staff, founded a trauma service for 20 years, then wrote an award-winning book and bought a farm with 0 farming experience. You're the guy who sees a problem, builds the system, saves the lives, then retires and immediately starts solving problems you've never seen before. Portuguese for Brazil, Japanese for next year. You don't stop learning, you just pick new mountains. Kareem, 12th in Egypt for tennis. Now you're advancing geriatric care outcomes through hip and knee reconstruction. You're giving people their mobility back, which means you're giving them their lives back. Fellowship trained, peer reviewed, teaching the next generation. You're not just operating, you're raising the standard. Shannon, Maritza, this is your room today, and what a room it is. 6 people who've mastered influence in operating rooms, hospital systems, sales territories, and stages. Bella, I'm ready. Let's cause some magic. You've got Snoop Dogg's backup guitarist in the same room as the surgeon who learned Japanese for fun. There's no wind in space. So let's see what happens when we stop waiting and start building.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, Athena. We'll be back in just a moment. And I want to introduce our amazing co-producers of today. First, coming from Greater Houston, Texas, co-founded her first company in 2004, growing it to over 10 million in annual revenue within a decade. By her exit in 2022, it neared 40 million annually, fueled by her vision, leadership, and strategic acumen. Faith-driven real estate investor who turned a life-altering divorce into a purpose-filled journey, building a diverse portfolio spanning multifamily student housing and single-family and retail assets. Co-founder of Christian Women Unblinded, where she empowers women to scale their businesses with purpose, guided by Christian values, along lifelong learning, and a commitment to lasting transformation. Let's welcome to her show, Shannon Bostic. Shannon, welcome to your show and your fun fact for today, please.
Well, if you ask Melissa Kalari, I have so much electricity running through my body that I stop watch batteries.
Shannon stops watch batteries with her electricity. Hopefully all your electricity doesn't cause our Zoom to go out today. Shannon, are you ready to have some fun?
I am.
Let's do it. Let's introduce her partner in crime today, coming also from Greater Houston, brings 28 years of global leadership at a Fortune 100 company into her work as an executive coach and HR transformation strategist, fusing operational excellence with emotional intelligence, founder of a purpose-centered coaching firm that guides leaders to align their values with vision, unlocking authentic performance growth and lasting influence, empowers physicians to recover lost revenue and reclaim vital time so they can focus on healing while restoring theirs. Please welcome to Maritza Alicia. Maritza, welcome to Your Heart of Influence. And what fun fact do you have for us today?
I love adventure, and before moving to the US, I climbed the tallest snow peak volcano in Ecuador.
Oh, Maritza is climbing volcanoes in Ecuador. That is super fun. Sounds hot. Are you ready to have some fun today?
I am ready.
Let's do it. Let's bring back Athena one more time. And Athena, please, just how would you like to acknowledge our co-producer Shannon and Maritza today before I introduce myself and we kick the show off?
Shannon, you turned a divorce that could have destroyed you into Christian Women Unblinded, which means you took the hardest moment of your life and decided other women weren't going to walk that road alone. 4 million to 40 million isn't just growth. It's proof that faith and strategy aren't opposites. Also, you've got so much electricity running through you that watch batteries quit, which explains why this room already feels like it's humming. Marissa, 28 years in a Fortune 100, and instead of staying comfortable, you walked away to help physicians recover what the system stole from them: time and revenue. You're not just coaching leaders to perform better. You're helping them remember who they were before the grind tried to erase it. And you climbed a snow peak volcano in Ecuador, which tells me you don't just talk about transformation, you literally summit it. Shannon and Marissa, this is your show today. You've got 6 guests who've mastered influence in operating rooms, hospital systems, and sales territories. Let's see what happens when we put them in scenarios that stretch what they think is possible. Bella, back to you. And then let's build something ridiculous together.
Let's build something ridiculous together, Athena, because we do have some amazing guests here today. And I cannot wait to see the scenarios that Athena comes up with. But I will quickly introduce myself. Just so you all know who I am, my name is Bella Verita. I have actually co-hosted more than 1,900 episodes with more than 8,000 guests of this very show. Prior to all that, I started selling crafts on my parents' front lawn at 8 years old. My parents would take me to Michael's. I would sell my crafts. I would get to keep all the profits. It was a great business model for an 8-year-old. Not quite how business works today, but as an 8-year-old, I was definitely rolling in the dough for sure. But I also learned how to ask questions and give clients what they needed. And I transferred those skills at 18 years old. I was introduced to a network marketing company. And by the time I was 19 years old, I was a top income earner in that company. When the FTC shut that company down, I went into commercial real estate in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I was the #1 business broker for 3 years in a row, the first woman ever and the youngest woman to ever do so. Since then, for the last 2.5 decades, I've led and drove different sales teams, different sales organizations, leadership trainings. In 2019, every company that I worked with doubled their sales. Now I've been here part of the Unblinded team, leading, driving, and sales, and co-hosting the Heart of Influence for the last 5.5 years. That is myself, Bella Verita. And I'm going to go with the fun fact, Gil. Although I've never met Snoop Dogg, I did listen to a lot of Snoop Dogg growing up, because my fun fact is when I was in high school, I actually sold drugs for a living. That was my part of my sales career that I left out. So I was selling drugs, sitting on my front porch, listening to Snoop Dogg, selling drugs. I don't sell drugs anymore. I am now a Christian pastor myself. So my fun fact is I went from drug dealer to God dealer. So that is my fun fact for today. And listening to a lot of Snoop Dogg. If you played him today, I could probably rap along with them. So that is my fun fact for all of you here today. Thank you for having me. And now what we get to do, we've made some introductions. Everybody gets to know who each other are. But we built this show during COVID because when the world was shut down, people didn't have a way to interact and get to know each other. And we like to say that all business is built on a shared experience. So that's all we're doing here today is Maritza, Shannon, they could have invited you for a cup of coffee, but Houston and Texas is really big and it would take a long time to get from El Paso all the way to Houston and probably waste a lot of time. But this is an hour, you get to be here, we get to have some fun by playing a game because Plato said, play a game with me for an hour and we will learn more about each other than if we spoke for a year. So that's what we're doing here today. We're just going to play a little game because we cannot build and grow scale. We can't make president circles and make number one if we cannot cause yes. So that's the game we play here today. So what's going to happen is our beautiful Athena is going to choose two people who she thinks could do some sort of ecosystem merger. So she knows all of your backgrounds and she thinks, maybe you two could do more together. So what she's going to do is she's going to choose two people and she's going to set a scenario for one person to go from hello to yes with the other in something that maybe they didn't think of, or maybe it could be a little challenging or maybe not. She'll tell who is seeking the yes from who. Then you will have 3 minutes to go from hello to yes with that person. This is not Wolf of Wall Street meets Boiler Room. Like we're going to close the deal and give me $1 million to build a building today. But it simply could be a yes for a longer meeting. So please, Athena, we have set the table and who are going to be our first two participants that you would like to put in a hot seat to play the super fun game of influence, please. Athena, who are our first two guests?
Ooh, okay. I love this. I'm putting Jacqueline and Craig in the hot seat. Here's why. Jacqueline, you've spent your career getting surgeons to say yes to $20 million territories and navigating companies from startup to NASDAQ. You know how to build relationships that drive revenue in highly regulated, high-stakes environments. Craig, you're running one of the few smart hospitals in the country, leveraging AI to solve documentation burdens. And you're expanding this tech into security facilities and nutrition. You're not just managing NER. You're pioneering what the future of healthcare operations looks like. Here's the scenario. Jacqueline, you just learned that Craig is leading smart hospital technology implementation at Houston Methodist Cypress. You've been exploring how your orthopedic spine and pain management partnerships could benefit from AI-driven patient documentation and outcome tracking, something that would massively differentiate your value proposition to surgeons and hospital systems. You're reaching out to Craig to explore whether there's a way to learn from what he's built, potentially collaborate, or see if there's a pilot opportunity where your networks intersect. Craig, you're about to get a call from someone in medical device sales who actually gets that technology should serve clinicians, not bury them. Jacqueline causes the yes. 3 minutes. Go from hello to a longer conversation. Your time starts now.
Beautiful. Jacqueline, Craig, are you up for this role play?
Sure. Absolutely.
Beautiful. So Jacqueline, you'll take us in. Just go ring, ring. Craig answers the phone and you'll take it from there.
Do we do the old school like this, even though nobody actually
can do the old
school? All right. Well, ring, ring.
This is Craig.
Hi, Craig. It's Jacqueline Osterhaus with Extra Point Medical. How are you doing today?
Good. What about you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. I'm reaching out today because I had some meetings with some of my pain management docs that I've worked with for a while that are kind of looking for new ways to reach more patients with some of the new technology that they want to offer them. I understand you've been working to kind of streamline some of the AI technology and was wondering if that you have anything in place that could potentially help them.
Yeah, so I mean, all of our physicians in the our PO group, and so in clinic, things like that, they all use ambient AI to help with all of their physician notes. One of our first physicians who piloted this technology for our organization started crying after, you know, the first day of it because of how much more time she was now going to have with her family and kids. Instead of seeing, you know, going home and doing charts and things like that, she was able to actually leave work at work, and then actually have better documentation and charge capturing than what she had whenever she was doing, you know, those retrospective charts. Since then, we are expanding that technology to now where, you know, ER physicians are using it, our surgeons are using it, and even one of the first hospitals in the US where our nurses are using this ambient AI. We started that last month.
Yeah, that's definitely a technology that I know would greatly benefit the practices that I work with. How do you, if they're not part of your PO, is there an opportunity to consult outside of that?
Yeah, so I mean, right now, the one that the physicians are using is through a third-party vendor. And so, you know, that's something that anybody, you know, outside of the PO, we do have a few private physicians that can still partner with that third-party vendor. As far as our one for nursing, that one is directly in partnership with our EHR provider.
Gotcha. Excellent. Well, I would love to get some of that third-party vendor information from you, and be able to introduce the, you know, physicians to that organization and partnership.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something where, yeah, I mean, each provider that we have, you know, eventually onboarded over kind of the last 18 months to 2 years through this has had great success, been able to, you know, have that better work-life balance that a lot of people in healthcare do not get due to the documentation burdens, but also from, you know, a operational ROI. Not only is there that increased employee satisfaction aspect, but there's actually the increased financial return through now giving them more time to actually see more patients during the day as well. And so, you know, from a business side, you know, there's a good return for your company as well.
That sounds like something that would make everyone excited. Excellent.
Jacqueline, this is your assistant. You have another call waiting on the other line.
All right. Thanks for your time, Craig. We'll be in touch.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Great job, Jacqueline. Great job, Craig. We'll get to the feedbackers in just a moment, but I'm going to bring Athena back. And Athena, please, if you would, Jacqueline and Craig did a phenomenal job. We'll get to the feedbackers in just a moment. But Athena, who is going to be in our second role play seat for today?
Okay, that was solid. Jacqueline, you moved fast. You named the pain. You asked for the resource. Craig, you gave real stories, real ROI, real emotion. We'll dig into that in a second. But right now, I'm putting Gil and Kareem in the hot seat. Here's why. Gil, you're leading the liver transplant program with virtual prehabilitation. You speak nationally to transplant groups and fitness communities, and your Yes Man philosophy is all about heart-centered patient care from evaluation through discharge. Kareem, you're a board-certified orthopedic surgeon focusing on hip and knee reconstruction, advancing geriatric care outcomes, and you're the medical director of orthopedic clinics at Texas Tech. Here's the scenario. Gil, you've been watching post-transplant patients struggle with mobility and joint pain that limits their rehab outcomes. You know that a significant percentage of liver transplant patients are older adults who also have degenerative joint issues, and those joint issues are quietly sabotaging their recovery. You just learned that Kareem specializes in geriatric joint reconstruction and is advancing outcomes for older adults. You're reaching out to explore whether there's a way to collaborate.
Beautiful. Are you guys up for this
Co-education.
one? Oh, go ahead, Athena. I didn't think you were done. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please continue, Athena.
No, you're good. I was just going to say maybe a referral pathway, maybe a joint clinic model, maybe even a research collaboration where you're tracking how joint reconstruction impacts transplant recovery timelines. Kareem, you're about to get a call from someone who sees patients the way you do, as whole humans, not just diagnoses. Gil causes the yes. 3 minutes. Go from hello to a longer conversation. Gil and Kareem, you ready?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. So Gil, you'll take us in with the ring and take it from there.
Sounds good. Ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Dr. El Sharkawi?
Oh yeah, well. Thank you, Gil. That's perfect. You're one of the people who pronounce my name correctly. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you may know my name is Gil. I'm an exercise physiologist. I work with transplant patients. One of the things that we specialize in is prehabilitation followed by rehabilitation. I know that's a really similar model to what a lot of orthopedic surgeons do. If you've got to replace a joint, a hip, a shoulder, a knee, oftentimes getting patients strong beforehand is really, really important. One of the things that we see with liver patients also, though, is sarcopenia that's really mimicking the aging process. And a lot of our patients, because of all the issues with liver enzymes and all that, they're vitamin D deficient, they have all sorts of issues with osteoporosis, osteopenia, a lot of bone fractures, that sort of thing. And I was just really hoping we could get either some input or maybe even be able to collaborate on something. I understand that this is really an area where you specialize. I'd love to get input from you on what we could be doing to kind of increase success for our patients in that post-transplant period.
So you bring up great points. I can speak briefly about the joint replacement aspect of it. Yes, a lot of these patients require joint replacement at some point. The area for collaboration would be, I would say, mostly to be able to manage medications, because a lot of these people are on immunosuppressive medications, and that stuff will need to be managed. I've had a few patients like that, and they benefit from joint replacement, but it has to be a very close collaboration to manage these medications. You touched on really important points as far as the osteoporosis and fragility fracture. So in my practice, we also run a bone health clinic. 1 day of the week, my nurse practitioner runs that. And she sees patients, gets labs, gets DEXA scans. So your patient population will definitely benefit from that, so that we can be, more proactive rather than reactive. And, as you know, a patient who sustains a hip fracture, their prognosis is really poor and mortality is pretty high. So now you add on top of it that these patients are immunosuppressed post-transplant, that makes it really very complicated. I would say the last point is something that regarding the vitamin D, is something that we've been paying attention to in orthopedics in the last few years, because it's not only for osteoporosis and bone mineral density and all of that. Vitamin D has been implicated in a lot of things, including wound healing complications, which affects orthopedics and will affect your transplant patients as well. So yes, there's a demand, and there's a huge opportunity for collaboration here.
One of the things that we have, just because there are so few transplant centers nationally, and Texas is relatively lucky, but even at that, we draw patients from a really, really large area, as far as El Paso, the Valley, up north to Dallas, people out of state, Oklahoma, Louisiana, all that. And I was wondering if there might be an opportunity for us to kind of also maybe have some type of referral program, because we do have a lot of people that are kind of out towards that West Texas area. We do have a lot of patients that need to travel for a large chunk of their healthcare. Is that something that you think might be possible as well?
Yeah, I think that's something that might be possible. We're in a relatively large catchment area where we're at, whether it's El Paso, West Texas, New Mexico, Mexico is right there on the border. So we serve a large catchment area. And, if we have a team that we can collaborate with on, like I mentioned, medications, multidisciplinary protocol, that can be very valuable. And most of our patients with the program that we have set in place, they spend one night in the hospital, 23 hours, and then they go home the next day. So it's a relatively quick recovery, but it's the post-op and the meds and the physical therapy that really becomes the bulk of everything afterwards.
What do you guys do as far as prehabilitation? I'm curious about that.
Dr. Spitz, Snoop Dogg is waiting for his follow-up appointment. He's waiting in your office.
All right. Well, listen, I've got to hop off the phone. I want to thank you for your time. I'd love to follow this up at some point if you have the time.
Sounds good. You can send Snoop my way as well if you want.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Great job, Gil. Great job, Kareem. And we'll get to the feedbackers in just a moment. But before we get to the feedback, actually, we'll do the feedbackers and then I'll let Athena put me on the hot seat. So, Athena, before we get to the feedbackers, anything that you would like to share with Gil and Kareem, please.
Okay, Gil and Kareem, that was beautiful. Gil, you opened with respect.
Oh, go ahead, Athena. We just played the music too long.
Gil, you opened with respect. You pronounced his name correctly, which immediately created rapport. Then you named the specific patient reality: sarcopenia mimicking aging, vitamin D deficiency, bone fractures. You weren't pitching collaboration. You were diagnosing a shared problem. That's mastery. Kareem, you didn't just say yes. You expanded the yes. Bone health clinic, medication management, wound healing implications of vitamin D. You took Gil's opening and showed him you see the whole patient, not just the joint. And then you named the 23-hour hospital stay, which is the kind of specificity that makes collaboration real, not theoretical. Gil, when you pivoted to the referral pathway and named the geographic reality, El Paso, the Valley, Dallas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, you made it impossible for Kareem to say this is just a nice idea. You showed him the patients are already there. The only thing I'd add, Gil, you could have locked in a specific next step before Snoop showed up. Let's get our teams on a call next week to map the protocol. Something concrete that turns this conversation into a calendar event. But that was a masterclass in two people who actually care about patients finding each other and realizing they've been solving half the problem alone. Shannon, Maritza, back to you for feedback.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Athena. And Athena, I'm going to come back to you in just a moment to put me on the hot seat. And we have Anshu and Mark left, so I can play one of them, but let's do something with Mark and Anshu. So be thinking about that, Athena. And let's go. So our feedbackers is we get to give 30 seconds of feedback to Jacqueline and Gil, something that they did great, something that they could do to improve. And like, what would be your next step you'd want to do with them? Would you maybe want to have a cup of coffee, maybe sit down for dinner? Maybe you'd even rent a private jet and fly anywhere in the world to have that next step with them. But Anshu, let's start with you. And how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Jacqueline, please? Oh, just unmute for us.
Sorry, didn't realize my mute was on. I think in-person meeting, even though we do a lot of teams and things like that, I think that is where things really do change and people take action because there's body language and everything else that comes into play and the synergy. So overall, I think they did great exchanges. They're it's hard to do it in 3 minutes, but I would say plan a meeting.
Plan a meeting is the next on Shu. Thank you for that. Let's go, Mark. Mark, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Gil, please?
I thought Gil did a great job, and I was really intrigued with the prehabilitation aspect there. I think that he touched on that at the very end, but especially with Dr. El-Sharkawi having a peer-reviewed publication experience, I would think that would be an ideal way to maybe develop a new study using some of Dr. El-Sharkawi's patients as part of them, looking at the contrast between prehabilitated patients and not. I think that would be a great way to validate the practice that he has.
Oh, beautiful. Love that feedback, Mark. Thank you so much for that. Let's go, Shannon. Shannon, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Jacqueline, please?
Jacqueline, I think you did an incredible job. You knew exactly how to talk to him to get to the point of what you were wanting. And you conveyed your message perfectly to him. I would go with, what was it again? Coffee, what was it?
Coffee, dinner, or a private jet?
We'll go with dinner, Jacqueline.
He's not quite ready to commit to the private jet, but maybe next time. Thank you,
Yes,
Shannon.
for sure. After the dinner.
After the dinner. Let's go, Maritza. Maritza, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Gil, please?
Gil really opened super strong, and it became a discussion between experts that understood each other. So it was an excellent intervention that you could see that they were building with each other. What I will probably suggest is ask a question to discover what is dreams needs, so then you can connect faster on how to get into that collaboration. And for sure, I would like to have a dinner and just hear more of this excellent specialty that he has and what he has on plans for the future.
Beautiful. And what would be your next step, Maritza?
The next step will be the dinner and then the jet, like you said.
Perfect. Love it. Thank you, Maritza. Cut out a little bit, but I think we got it. Thank you very much. And so Athena, I am coming back to you. And as you know, this is the time in the show that we get to put me on the hot seat and on a scenario that I have no idea about. We've got a couple of guests left here. So Athena, what role am I playing today and what yes am I seeking?
Ooh, okay, Bella, you're going in the hot seat, and I'm pairing you with Mark. Here's why. Mark, you're a retired general and trauma surgeon. You founded and directed a trauma service for 20 years. You climbed the leadership ranks to chief of surgery and chief of staff. And now you're an Amazon best-selling author of Enemy at the Helm. You've got decades of high-stakes decision-making, you understand systems, and you know what it takes to lead through crisis. Bella, you're about to play as Ashu. Here's the scenario. Ashu, you've been watching Mark's work from a distance. Retired surgeon, best-selling author, someone who built a trauma service from the ground up during the era when trauma systems were being developed nationwide. You've spent 17 years turning neurosurgical and cardiovascular technologies into multi-million-dollar portfolios, and you've been exploring how to position a new early-stage medical device company that's developing trauma-specific surgical tools. You need someone who understands trauma surgery at the system level, someone who could potentially advise, open doors to hospital networks, or even become a clinical champion for the technology. You're reaching out to Mark to explore whether there's interest in a conversation about what he's seeing in the trauma space and whether there's alignment. Mark, you're about to get a call from someone who actually understands that your expertise didn't retire when you did. Bella, playing as Ashu, you cause the yes. 3 minutes. Go from hello to a longer conversation. Bella and Mark, you ready?
Let's do it. Ashu, will you permit me to play you in this role play?
Absolutely. And
Beautiful.
sounds like me too.
Perfect. Ring, ring.
Hello, it's Mark Dixon.
Hi, Mark. This is Anshu. We had scheduled a short conversation today. Is now still a good time?
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I just want you to know I understand who you are, your background, all the impressive chief of staff, everything that you've done. And Mark, I'm just curious, what caused you to say yes to having this conversation with me in the first place today?
What caused me to say yes? Well, I was intrigued. I don't know what you have to talk about. So I'm always interested in learning about new things. So I just wanted to see what you had to say.
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for that, Mark. And I understand from reading a little bit about you, you're a retired general and trauma surgeon from Dallas. You climbed the ranks of chief of surgery, chief of staff, and now you have a best-selling book and you own a farm. Do I understand all of that correctly?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
And did you buy the farm after you retired, or were you still climbing the ranks and running a farm at the same time?
It was pretty much when I retired, we bought the farm. It just happened to work out that way. We were looking to downsize from our big family house in the city, and we wanted a smaller house and more land, and that's what we got.
That is what you got. That is impressive. And the best-selling book, Enemy at the Helm. Tell me what that book's about.
Oh, that is an international conspiracy thriller centered around a Texas family, and the premise is a large-scale terrorist attack happens against the U.S. involving multiple deep water ports that get blocked and sends the country and the world into a shutdown of global trade. It has to deal with all the effects from that. Some of the family are dealing with the effects at home, and some of them are actually caught up in the search for the perpetrators.
That is wild. So nothing about the medical industry at all. It sounds like something that you wrote for fun. Am I hearing that correctly?
That is correct. There is one character there who is an acute care surgeon in a different city. He's the patriarch of the family. So that part, there's actually a lot of real life events that I brought to bear in the book, not just with the medical part, but with other things as well. So it was a fun thing to bring up.
That sounds super impressive, and definitely now I'm interested in reading it because it sounds super fascinating. So I will definitely have to check that out for sure. And Mark, let me ask you, now that you're retired and you're running on the farm and writing selling books, like what is next for you? Are you still tied into the medical community? Do you still do anything in the medical community? Do you still, keep in contact? Like, what is next for you?
I have, when I closed my practice 5-6 years ago, I started doing locum tenens work. And so I worked around various parts of Texas and Colorado and Oklahoma doing that. I'm just about completely finished with that. So my current contact with the medical field is more of as a family member. My wife got tossed off of one of our horses last fall, and so I got to help with that. But that's the most I'm doing now medically and surgically.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your wife. That is terrible. I hope she's making a full recovery and she's doing okay.
She's doing
now.
fine. And you were talking about vitamin D earlier in the show, and we do supplement with that. Was 66 or 7 years old at the time of being thrown off the horse, and thought for sure she broke her hip. I saw it. I saw her land, but she didn't. She did fine. So
well, that is super impressive. And Mark, if it's okay, I'd like to share just a little bit about myself and maybe see if there's some interaction, because it sounds like, you've gone down some different paths since you've been retired. Maybe there's something more we could do together, maybe not, but it's okay if I just share a little bit about myself, what I'm looking to do, and we'll see if there's even room for a longer conversation. How does that resonate or not?
Absolutely. Let's see what you got.
Beautiful. Well, my name is Ashu, and I am partnered with global medical device companies. And for 17 years, I've been working with neurosurgical, cardiovascular, spine technologies into multi-million-dollar portfolios. And over the and I drove over 1,700% year-over-year revenue growth in early stage marketing by building distributor networks, securing hospitals and approvals. And I just thought with what it is that I've been doing for the past 17 years and maybe with what your background is, Shannon, Maritza, they introduced us for a reason. And I thought maybe there'd be room for a longer conversation to see if some of the areas that I work in might even serve some of your, I don't know who you sold your practice to, but maybe even who your practice is now, or maybe some of the contacts that you have, and maybe there could be some sort of partnership that we could work on together. How does that resonate with you or not, or would it be worth a longer conversation?
Well, I'd be interested in anything that helps patients get better faster. So that's the main marker, the main metric that I look at.
Well, Mark, you and I are aligned in that for sure. We want to help patients faster. So if I could, maybe I'll give you a call tomorrow. How about around 2 o'clock? I have some, some portfolios, some things that I could show you, and we'll see if it works or not. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Mark, Shu, having no idea what you do or understanding medical devices in any way, shape, or form. How did I do as you going from hello to yes with Mark? Mark, thank you. It's always fun when I'm put in a seat that I know very little about. But Shu, thank you for permitting me to play you. And how did I do as role playing you?
Very well. Perhaps better than I would have done myself.
Well, thank you so much. That is I'm not so sure about that, but that is an honor and a privilege.
Very good.
Beautiful. And Shu, how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
You know, I got to see the dynamics and how you set people to talk to each other. I think that was very, very good. I didn't know what to expect. So this is very good.
Beautiful, Shu. Well, thank you so much for being here. Mark, how did I do in that role play seat, having very little understanding about your background, even though Shu's background, but going from hello to yes regardless. How was that for you, and how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
Well, I thought you did a good job establishing rapport. I still don't know what you can do to help make patients get better faster, but we'll find out the next conversation, I guess.
Well, let me do this actually, because Athena set up that role play. So I'm going to bring Athena back real quick. And Athena, when you set up that role play for me, I'm just curious what you saw as the possibility for Anshu and Mark, and how what Anshu does can help patients get better faster. So Athena, please, like 300 words or less, under a minute. What would you want Mark to know about that?
Ooh, okay, here's what I saw. Mark, you built a trauma service for 20 years during the era when trauma systems were being developed. You know what it takes to get new protocols, new technologies, new standards adopted at the hospital level. You've lived through the fights with administration, the credentialing battles, the proving it works phase that every innovation has to survive. Ashu has spent 17 years turning neurosurgical, cardiovascular, and spine technologies into multi-million-dollar portfolios. 1,700% year-over-year growth in early-stage markets. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because Ashu knows how to build distributor networks, secure hospital approvals, and get surgeons to actually adopt new technology in the OR. The possibility I saw, Ashu works with companies developing trauma-specific surgical tools, devices that could save time in the OR, reduce complications, improve outcomes. But getting trauma surgeons to adopt new technology requires someone who speaks their language, someone who's been in the room when seconds matter, someone who understands what actually works versus what looks good in a pitch deck. You're that person, Mark. You've got the clinical credibility, the network, the system-level understanding. Ashu's got the commercial infrastructure to take a technology from prototype to nationwide adoption. The question isn't whether there's a fit, it's whether you're interested in staying in the game from a different seat. Not operating, but shaping what the next generation of trauma surgeons have access to when they're trying to save a life. That's what I saw. Two people who've mastered different sides of the same mission. Better outcomes for patients who don't have time to wait.
Beautiful, Athena. Mark, how did that resonate with you or not?
Yeah, I think her last sentence says it all. Better outcomes for patients who don't have time to wait. That really drives everything.
It absolutely does. Well, Mark, thank you so much for being here, bringing your expertise. And how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
I enjoyed it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go, Jacqueline, the first person in the hot seat, which is not always the easiest seat to be in, but absolutely fantastic job. And Jacqueline, how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
Excellent. I think it's been such a pleasure to learn a little bit about everyone that's on this call, for sure.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Jacqueline. Craig, jumping into that role play seat with Jacqueline. Thank you for being here. Thank you for jumping into that role play seat. And Craig, how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
It was good. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Gil, my pathway to Snoop Dogg. Thank you for jumping into that role play seat as well. Bring your energy, enthusiasm. And Gil, how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
It was great. It was really interesting. I got some notes about who everyone is and what they do, and it's just a really interesting group of folks. And just throw it out there. Anyone that wants to get in touch with me, I'm always happy to chat with people. So please feel free.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Gil. And Kareem, thank you. Thank you for jumping into that role play seat. Fantastic job. And Kareem, how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
It was very good. I enjoyed meeting everyone and listening to different stories and different things people are doing. So yeah, it was good. I appreciate being here.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kareem. And before we get to Shannon and Maritza, I'm going to give Athena. Athena, please, just your final for this show. How would you like to send people off, why they should connect with each other? And again, in like 300 words or less, in under, let's do 30 seconds this time, 30 seconds. What final would you like to share with everyone and send them off into their day?
Okay, here's what just happened. You spent an hour with people who've mastered influence in operating rooms, hospital systems, sales territories, and stages. Ashu turned 1,700% growth into a repeatable skill. Craig's building the future of healthcare operations. Jacqueline navigated startup to NASDAQ. Gil went from backing up Snoop to saving liver transplant patients. Mark built trauma systems from scratch. Kareem's giving people their mobility back. Every single person in this room has something the others need. Networks, expertise, access, credibility. The question isn't whether there's opportunity here. The question is whether you'll actually follow up. Don't let this be the room where you met incredible people and did nothing. Send the message, make the intro, book the call. Shannon, Maritza, this was your room, and you held it beautifully. Now go build something that didn't exist an hour ago, because you just met the people who can help you do it.
Beautiful. Athena, thank you for that. Maritza, since you're unmuted, please, your final on your show.
It has been wonderful to get to know a little bit more about all of you. We will be sharing the information so you can reach out to each other. And thank you again for spending this hour with us. It has been a pleasure, and we'll be in touch with you for sure.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Maritza. Shannon Bostic, your final on your Heart of Influence, please.
I think this was an incredible show. Everybody is so uniquely different, but yeah, great stories. So awesome to meet everyone. And yeah, Maritza said we'll be in touch, and anybody's number that you want, we can share with you. So yeah, looking forward to see what happens past this hour.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Maritza. And I will echo, I've done more than 1,900 episodes of this show. And this is by far, I want to congratulate Shannon and Maritza for putting such an incredible group of individuals together today. This is one of the best Heart of Influence that we have. It makes a lot of sense why you guys are all here. And we always like to, this is a shared experience. We like to end every show. Like, don't make this like one of those events that you went to, like collected a card that sat on your desk for the next 3 years. And you're like, where did I meet that person? We do this show. It's unique. So you always remember each other from being on the Heart of Influence. But there was a reason that you all were invited here today. And Shannon and Maritza, they're going to make sure that you continue the relationships. You do more together. Maybe there's more to do with us. There's some invitations there. We have some gifts for you in the chat. There's a book Sean created a 26-year formula on going from hello to yes. He's the first self-funded blind unicorn founder. So there's a book in there for you. He founded Caligie Recovery that's helped medical providers collect over $1 billion from insurance companies. So definitely have a conversation with one of our teammates. Athena will be on that conversation to see what more there is to do together. And we provide a lot of ways to do that. So this isn't just one of those things that you did along the way and forget about. There's definitely more to do together. So on behalf of myself and everyone at Unblinded, we like to end every show by saying this. Although Sean is physically blind, sometimes we're all blind to the opportunities right in front of us and just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.